I don't know what the talent can do at that point.
A lot.
Russo'sBrand.com, where the pros are the pros. You know, it's a double-edged sword, man, because they have completely bastardized the product by selling it to anybody that will give them a paycheck. They're trying to please, so many masters. I don't think they really realize 8 hours of TV a week. I don't think they really realize, it's already watered down. It's going to be more watered down. And Al, I just have to believe that's going to catch up with them at some point. Just a watered down product to fill contractual obligations. Al, we're talking about 8 hours a week.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Al. Can you imagine you writing 8 hours of television a week?
I have, but it's not easy. And especially if it's 52 weeks a year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna be burning out a lot of creativity very quickly. You're gonna box yourself in. But let's face facts. I've said this before and I'll say it again. You refer to them, Vince, you go they, meaning WWE itself, watering down the product. It's not they that are watering down the product, and it is not their responsibility. It is the talent's responsibility, because it is the talent's business. And again, say what you want, make whatever justification or excuse you want to come up with. Once that talent walks through the curtain, the onus, the responsibility is 100%, in giving the audience what they paid to see. What's the audience paid to see? None of this other bullshit. None of it. All they care about, because they've known for decades, I know you all like to believe that, it just changed, but it hasn't. They've known for decades, at least here in the United States, that wrestling was work, that it was predetermined, and they only cared about whether or not they could spend their money and believe. If they could just believe in who that person is and why they're doing it, that's it. That's not asking for much. And now we have gotten our performers are getting to a point where they are being allowed to focus on everything but that. And therefore, that's what waters down the product.
Can I throw something in there? Here's where I disagree, because I'm just telling you where I'm at a television view, strictly a television viewer, Al. Okay, because I watch a lot of TV. Al,
if you would stop living in the commune out there in Colorado.
Okay, Al, listen to me. I know you always say that, but just hear me out. Hear me out for a second. WWE, when you talk about, creativity and, just there's so much product and so many hours. Al, I watch this show every week. Here's what is clear, Al. Yeah. They have a toolbox. They have so many tools in the toolbox.
But the biggest and most important tool they have are
but listen to me. They keep running the same plays over and over and over again. And not only are they running the same plays over, they're stretching these angles out to nausea, stretching angles that should have been over months ago. True. They're stretching out. Wait, let me just finish that. I'll let you go.
Well, hold on. Part of that, though, is because they've not sufficiently built up enough of the rest of the talent to then step in.
Agreed.
And take it another direction.
Agreed. But Al, when you're going way beyond the length of time in an angle that you should have went, if an angle should have lasted 3 months, and bro, you're going on 6 months, 8 months, and the person is sitting at home saying, all right, enough already, end this. Yeah. I don't know what the talent can do at that point.
A lot.
Tell me.
Because that, again, it comes down to, and again, this is a skill that's not taught anymore. You're creative, no matter how creative they are, they can only do what the talent gives them. And you need talent constantly in the bottom and on the middle, aspiring to be at the top. You need them all, I can't book a guy, I can, and I do, but boy, it'd make it a lot easier if 6 months before I needed a guy to work for the heavyweight title, he already looked like it. to the audience. He was already wrestling like he should be the next heavyweight champion. So that when it comes time and that angle that I've been running has had its run, it's had its shelf life, I've got somebody else right there ready to go. And not that I made them.
Right.
The problem is,
what does that talent do, though, that's in the storyline that's going on for too long? I'm talking about that talent. What does that talent do when a storyline has gone on 3 months too long?
Well, they're not going, first off, most of them aren't going to walk up and go, hey, I'm at the top too long. That's not going to happen. That's where you've got to always be looking to and feeling. You got to have somebody that feels and knows and senses, we've taken this heat too long. We've got to pay this heat off, and now we got to move on. We got to go in a new direction. Sometimes you got to literally pay it off and then start fresh.
Well, when that doesn't happen and they keep beating the dead horse because of lack of creativity, what is that talent supposed to do?
But there's the talent. There's no talent to replace that person.
Right.
It's kind of like the situation they had at one point where they had the title on Roman Reigns for so long. Well, who are you going to take it off of and put it onto?
Right.
That was going to be able to make sense based on what you had taught the audience as far as Roman Reigns was concerned. Those all counterbalance, and you can't have one without the other. You've got to. There's no easy answer. You know what I mean? There's no simple approach. But you still, creativity wise, as part of creative, you can't do something without a talent giving you something to work with. I'm kind of in that situation right now. I don't have enough of a depth of the roster, meaning I don't have enough people that have been built up significantly in the middle that I could easily move up and put at the top.
Right.
And the only reason I don't is because I just don't have enough to feed other people to elevate them.
Right.
The same I don't have enough at the bottom to elevate them to the middle so that I can have enough in the middle to move to the top.
Right.
It literally, the business should go like it has for decades, which is from the bottom up to the middle to elevate, the middle down to the bottom to elevate the bottom to the middle, and then the middle up to the top to get a run for the top, and then at some point back to the bottom or in the middle or away. That's how it works. But now we've had for a very long time, we've had the top only lose to the top. And now we're getting to a point where, I'll lose to the other top guy, but he's got to hit me 5 times with his finish. Well, for God's sakes. Now you've got the middle only lose to the middle and the bottom. The middle only loses to the top. The bottom loses to everybody. But now you don't ever get that where you see them slowly climb up.
Right.
And are built into it, or they start to, and then they get derailed.
But Al, let me
about that too, about the use of Gunther. In a long-term, view, Gunther would have been an ideal opponent for Brock. If Brock was still there, Brock Lesnar, Reigns, physically, visually, he could fit in, but he kind of got off the track.
Let me throw a hypothetical at you. Mm-hmm. Because I'm talking about when a viewer at home gets to the point of saying, okay, we got it. We got it. Move on. What's next?
That's where the heat starts to die.
But let me give you, that's what I want to talk to you about a talent. I want to talk about you as a specific talent, Al, because I just watched this. Al, I don't know if you know this or not, but you received the first bloodbath at the hands of the Brood. Okay, you got the first one. Now, what was great television, great TV, Jeff, I don't know if you remember this, for the next 2 weeks, Al comes out still covered in the blood.
Yeah. I brought a different head to the ring because I wanted to signify a different attitude.
Yeah, never took this sent him over the edge. Okay, it was beautiful, Al. You did it for 2 weeks.
But I did it myself.
Yeah, but let me finish. Al, if Vince would have said to you, okay, Al, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, you're coming out covered in blood. Yeah. Now, The audience at home, me at home watching this week 3, I'm saying, okay, Al, we get this. We got it. We understand. But they're beating it to death because of lack of creative. Wait, hold on. Wait. You as a talent now, even you knowing, my God, bro, we're on week 5. I don't know what else I can do with this. What are you supposed to do as the talent?
Well, that is where I changed the focus from my outfit to the different head that I'm carrying. I changed the way I wrestle differently. I start tearing holes in the outfit that I'm wearing so that it looks like it's starting to deteriorate because I've been wearing it for so long and won't take it off. I do lots of little things on my own that help carry that along to keep showing, because it's not the outfit. It's the fact that I snapped and I'm in a different place now.
Right.
That's what I'm selling. The problem is that too many don't focus on the esoteric things that they're selling. They focus on the talent, focus on just selling what they do, not the why. I would be selling the why. I would not be selling the what. Your point is the audience is going to focus on the what, not if I don't sell it, not if I don't acknowledge it, not if I just keep wearing it to remind everybody of what made me snap, then and why I have a different behavior and look differently and carry a different head and blah 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 blah.
Wow.
Then I'm going to sell. They're going to buy that. The audience will buy whatever you sell.
I got you.
Okay. The problem is, and the reason why and that's why I go back to the talent, is that the talent are too focused on trying to just sell what. Okay, that's why we have we have Cody Rhodes doing 25, crossroads to beat one person, because it's all about the what. And you got to hit me like 4 or 5 times with that before you can beat me. Why? Sell it, put it over. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. The beauty, the amazing magic of wrestling is you can literally, as a performer, get in the ring and do absolutely nothing and make it mean everything. Or you can choose to do everything and make it mean absolutely nothing. That's your choice as a performer. And once you walk through the curtain, I can direct you, I can produce you, I can support you, I can advise you. You walk through that curtain, all bets are off. It's up to you to now sell whatever you want to sell the way you need to sell it. So I can be put into whatever situation or circumstance you want, and we can run that for as long as you want. But I can put my own little twist on things when I go out there, and I can now, again, to my point, you've told me to wear the bloody outfit for 6-8 weeks. Great, but I'm not selling that anymore. And the audience is no longer going to focus on it. They're going to focus on whatever I sell and whatever I do, because that's the other thing we've lost. You and everyone else think the audience is in control. They aren't. They're never in control. It's the performer who is in control and directs the audience to think, feel, or believe whatever they want based off of what they're selling them and what they feel instinctually what the audience is more likely to buy. That's really all this comes down to. Is that we're, as a group, whether you're creative or whether you're the performer, we're all trying to ascertain for each individual performer, what is it that the audience wants to buy from that performer? Now, the performer needs to figure it out to sell it. We need to figure it out so that we can help accentuate what he's selling so that he and we can be successful. No matter where they're at on the card or how long the storyline is going on, we have to create heat, a want, a need, a desire to not only see the show, because it's not a show, it's a commercial, to see the product, which are the talent. And that is ultimately what we're using as a platform, is the show, to sell that talent.
That is what you just said. I promised myself in 2025 I was never going to put Al over. What you just said was brilliant. But Al, here's the problem. I bet you, if you look at the landscape of wrestling today, maybe 15% of today's wrestlers understand what you just said. Maybe, if we're lucky, Al. That's what I'm seeing. Because when you explain that, I get it. And I know Al Snow can do that. I know you could do that. But when I look at some of these rosters and these names are running through my head while you're talking, I'm saying to myself, these people don't even know what Al's talking about.
I understand, because it's never been explained or taught to them in that manner, and then it's never been put into actual practical use. The reason that it's not is, again, the independent wrestling business isn't the real wrestling business. The real wrestling business, just like any entertainment business, whether it be acting, stand-up comedy, music, you name it, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, those are not sports, those are businesses. They are a business, because once you monetize anything, it ceases to be just pure competition and now becomes a business. It's been that way for decades. It's the way it always is. UFC, business. Okay. We want great fights. We want great competition. We want, not saying that any of these are a work, just saying we want great. But the biggest thing is we want money. And when you start selling tickets, you start merchandise, you start licensing, you start doing television rights, that becomes a business. And the real wrestling business isn't about how well you performed, getting some kind of critical acclaim, which is what it has been shifted to, partly because of the influence of people that really are watching it for a completely different reason than what you should be performing for. And because those that have been brought into it are now being brought into it by people that have never been in the real wrestling business, have never really had to derive a living from it or an income from it. But, because those days all shifted around WrestleMania 3, where enough of that older generation departed. And so as a result, you now get talent that are the heart and soul of the business. They are the product. And they now don't understand what it is that they're supposed to be doing when they are sent to the ring to do it. Yeah. And when you went to the ring in the past, the only reason you went to that ring was not to entertain the fans. It was to entertain the fans. But the only way you could entertain the fans, bottom line, was they had to be able to believe. Even if they knew 100% it was bullshit, they had to believe. The average person who's buying a ticket, even today, back then and today, the average person is like, hey, wrestling's in town. Man, that'd be fun. I'd take the wife and kids. Well, that's a chunk of money to take the wife and kids. I mean, we all know we have kids. They eat constantly. So now you got to spend money to buy tickets for them, plus yourself. You got to pay to park. You got to pay to feed them. You got to buy some merchandise, because if you don't, they're going to scream. And then you're going to have heat with your wife. Then you're not going to get laid that night. So, when you're sitting there in the building, be honest now, whether you watch baseball, you watch whatever, you don't want to be thinking about how much money you spent and that you might have to pay the power bill late next week. Mm-hmm. You want to forget. You want to forget your life. You want to forget that you have stress. You want to forget that you have anxiety, and you want to just be entertained so that you can be in that world and enjoy yourself. Yes or no?
No, you're absolutely correct.
Okay. Well, performers aren't performing for that guy no more.
No.
They're performing to get, viral on social media. They're performing to get a rating on their match. They're performing to get critical acclaim. And because their income isn't directly tied to that audience member's belief anymore, where it used to be, and that's been lost.